Hey there, Comets. Thanks for tuning in. Right now, you're watching In the Seat with Valerie Perez. Our two guests today are Mercedes and OCL. They are active members here at the LULAC Club on campus. Both are avidly involved in our local Latinx community. During today's episode, we're going to discuss DACA and immigration issues going on in the nation. But first, watch this quick informational clip. March 5th was the original deadline for the DACA decision to be exposed. Dreamers and Americans have been waiting for months to see if Dreamers will receive protection from immigration, just as they did during Obama's administration. President Trump terminated the program, but ordered the Department of Homeland Security to renew existing DACA permits. The Supreme Court declined Trump's order so that the court and Congress have more time to devise a solution. DACA recipients are still stuck in limbo without immigration protection. All right, we're back. Thank you for being here with us today. Mercedes and OCL.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, before we get started about DACA, what are some of the events that the LULAC community does here locally?
One of our largest ongoing service events here on campus is the English as a Second Language classes that we have for staff on campus, primarily the custodial workers that don't speak English. That's our longest ongoing service project, but in addition to that, we've done immigration forums last year. We incorporated immigration resources onto the safe zones on campus, and we've also been able to, what are some other things?
We were able to join with MASA and partake in the vigil we had last year for DACA. We had 24 hours of DACA where we were on the plinth for literally 24 hours handing out no cards to with a link on them for a petition stating your support for the DREAM Act.
All right, so it seems like a lot. That was already like 3 things: immigration and writing the letters and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, another thing, we had a letter writing workshop over the summer where we, I think this is the night whenever Trump said that he was going to end DACA, so we were writing to our representatives saying that we wanted to keep it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So LULAC did recently travel to Washington, D.C. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You guys were at a conference. How many UTD students went with you all?
There were 4 UT Dallas students, both of us, another member, Vanessa Rodriguez, and then Juan Olivo, who's not a member of our council, but he is a LULAC member, and he goes to UT Dallas.
What were some of the events that you guys participated in, or some of the topics, I guess, hot topic discussions that the conference discussed?
Oh, I guess the biggest topic on everyone's mind was immigration and education, considering that's what affects us right now.
Right.
DACA and the DREAM Act is mostly aimed at childhood arrivals, and then there's also the whole thing with
the Prosper Act.
The Prosper Act. We're also, I guess the debt bubble is currently building up, things like that.
Did you guys get to talk to politicians?
Yes, so that was probably one of the most exciting things that we got to do while we were in DC.
Oh, okay.
They scheduled meetings with congressional office holders as well as Senate office holders for people from our respective states. So since LULAC is a national organization, people from Washington State were able to meet with their Washington representative, people from Kentucky with their Kentucky representatives, and then we were able to meet with Congressman Beto O'Rourke along with Senator John Cornyn, and these were different meetings that we had. John Cornyn we only had a moment with to take a picture and speak to his aides.
His aides were there. If we didn't get to speak to a representative, we spoke to the aide.
But with Beto O'Rourke, we were able to have a full-on meeting with about 30. I think it was around 30 members from Texas. So
yeah.
That's great. That sounds good. With the deadline approaching, March 5th is coming up. Did it make you feel more comfortable being able to be in DC and work, I guess, in policy at the national level?
Well, we were actually in the Senate gallery whenever the votes came in for 3 of the 4 DREAM Act bills that Senate drafted. But they couldn't agree on any of them because of a border wall. It didn't include it, so President Trump didn't sign off on it.
It was the 4 pillars that a lot of Republican lawmakers did not want to sign on to, or that they weren't able to. They weren't included in them.
The bipartisan one included the Gang of 6. So yeah.
All right, so it seems like there's a lot of work going on right now in DC with the politicians and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of different organizations currently working, like such as Undocumented Media, the Seed Project. They just did a 14-day trip that culminated in DC. There's a lot of hunger strikes going on right now. There's someone walking across the United States as we speak to DC. So there's a lot of work going on, even if the media doesn't cover it. But this is an ongoing thing because I said it in the last interview. DACA was kind of like a glass of water in the desert. You have to keep going. You still have to get back.
Yeah. So it looks like the last thing we talked about was all of the work that's going on in DC. DACA, even though the media doesn't cover it every day, people are still trying to help all of the, I guess, needy people going on right now, or needy people who are undocumented right now, and continuously need politicians to be the voice for them. Do you consider yourself kind of like, because you guys are not dreamers, do you consider yourself as privileged Mexican Americans?
So I'd say for myself, yes, 100%. I was born here, my parents were born here, but my grandparents weren't born here. But I understand that with that generational divide, I could have very easily been in that same position. Same thing with my grandparents, and if they hadn't have taken the risk at the time when the laws were more lenient and more forgiving, then I would probably be in that position. So would my parents, so would a lot of my family members. So we've been able to establish roots here because of the sacrifices that they made then. And I understand that the sacrifices that these people are making are the same ones. You're here trying to provide better life for your family. So
right.
In my case, I'm a first generation citizen. For my parents' hometown, there's a large presence here, like quinceañeras are full, but it's just people from the hometown, not really people from here in the United States. So I got lucky that my dad was able to get amnesty during the Reagan administration, and then my grandfather was a U.S. citizen, so my mother was able to get her residentship and then eventually her citizenship. So I'm light-skinned, I'm bilingual. Right. So with that being said,
you have more opportunities.
I have a lot more opportunities to help out my friends and my family, a lot of my cousins that are undocumented.
Exactly. That's exactly why the reason that we do need to be doing the work that we're doing, because if someone is not able to raise up their voice because they are undocumented and they are fearing deportation for either themselves or a family member, we're able to do that work, and that's why it's important.
Right. Okay. So it looks like what we've gotten from OCL and Mercedes is that leaders in the community are still fighting in DC. People are still going to fight for DACA and for the Dreamers. So if you guys do agree with it, what you can do is stay informed, continue to read about it, and of course to vote. Be sure to check out our sports videos on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and until next time, comments.